Joseph Di Benedetto,
Okay, so present.
Wing Yu,
Present.
Anne Marie Knable.
Present.
We're still waiting on Joseph Chow, Sung Young Lee, and Rashmi Krishnaraj. Michelle Frederick won't be joining us, and Sana Tayeb.
Present.
Okay.
Okay, so there's 4 of us and 4 missing.
Shirley's on her way, and Rashmi said give her 3 minutes.
And so
Okay,
we called this special meeting to do further interviews on the open position for our CEC membership. So we thank you both for joining us. We really appreciate and we apologize that you had to come back. I know you were at our last meeting and we were hoping to make a decision, but I think some of the council members had some additional questions they wanted to ask. And so we really appreciate that both of you came back. And as soon as the other member joins in, we will continue with any questions that any other CEC member has. I
okay,
have to
sure.
tell you, you know, I'm okay. So, you know, let's start. You know, I think Wendy had some questions if you want to start. Hi, Shirley.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Hello.
Okay, Shirley and Rashmi is
Hello, Rashmi.
on.
Okay,
Hi,
so we would
Okay.
let's just jump into it because I know it's already 6:40 and I don't want to keep you.
yeah. Good evening. Thank you for joining us again, and I apologize that we were not able to make a decision at the general meeting. I just felt that it was somewhat rushed to make a decision. So I have a few questions. This question is for both of you. Can you give us a history of your volunteer work in the past or present? Your role and capacity? How often was the volunteer work? And how much time per month were dedicated to the volunteer work?
Sure, I can go.
Sure.
I can go first. I'm currently on a PTA. I'm the secretary this year. I was on a PTA basically when my son has been in PS 29 since he was in kindergarten. I joined when he was in 1st grade. I'm on an SLT. This is my 2nd year. I'm currently Title I chairperson at my children's school, and I'm District 25's alternate. And now I'm applying now for, for this position. Monthly, I can't even give you how much time I dedicate to the school. Like right now, we have so many different projects with the PTA and being a secretary, I'm, recording everything. Not only that, we have different fundraisers for the school. I'm doing that. I volunteer every, any occasion that they have, I'm there. I'm doing whatever, whatever needs to be done to get the job done. I make flyers. I make the flyers for the school. I write up whatever needs to be written up. Excuse me. Just trying to think of some more stuff that we're, currently doing. I reach out to parents that don't speak English because I speak Spanish as well. So I'll, reach out to those parents. Just a variety of things that I do at the school, with the staff, with the children and the teachers as well.
Okay, thank you. Eden?
Sorry, I was trying to get unmuted. Okay, so I think for me, actually, my volunteering stemmed way back before just jumping in as a parent level. Back in junior high and high school, I was very active, even back then as a student. In high school, I started doing peer mediation as well as student government. So for me, at that time, I was treasurer. I was a co-president my senior year of my high school. And then in college, I started continuing to do more volunteering. I volunteered on the ambulance at that time, 2 shifts a week. So I had always been very, very active on volunteering throughout that. And then once I got into out of college, I actually went overseas for 6 months to Israel, and I did a volunteer internship where I was doing 60 hours a week. So for me at that point, I dedicated an entire 6 months, 60 hours a week of my time, and decided to do that just prior to starting a full-time job. And then I came back, I started doing my job, and this was all prior to getting, having kids and everything. And then once I actually had my children, I knew I wanted to get involved. My son had a rough year, his first year. He was at a different school initially. And then once he got into the school that he's in now, over at PS 193, where my kids are, right away I reached out to getting involved with second. They said there's openings on PTA, and I joined the PTA. I joined it on fundraising. I stayed on fundraising this year for the 2nd year. And now that we're back in the schools, every activity that I can be involved in, I've done before. So picture days, different fundraisers, I'm right away jumping in on. And then this year I've joined as my first year on SLT. So I'm monthly meetings with that. And then now going in towards joining into the, hopefully joining you guys on CEC. So I've had a very extensive experience with volunteering throughout my life.
Wow, very impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can, Joe, I can keep going if other people don't have
Okay,
questions.
am I? Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Wendy, if you have other questions, we'll wait till, let's give the other members a chance, and then if they don't have questions, you can continue with the next question. Does anyone else have a question? Rashmi?
Hi, everyone.
Sana?
Oh,
you have a
Hi,
question?
Sana.
Yes. I have a question. It's not as technical as Wendy's, even though I love the question. Very, very good question, Wendy, and great answers, ladies. I'm not gonna apologize that you guys are here. I'm just gonna say that we liked you both so much that we had to have you back at least one more time. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you for being back. And my question is more of an intangible one. What would this council, or what would this group of people, fine people, miss out on? What tangible quality or maybe area of expertise by not having you on the council?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll go ahead this time. Give Crystal a break first. I think for me, it's really, I'm so dedicated to children, even just, I guess this kind of goes back to even the volunteering a little bit, which I kind of left off and it reminds me of. In high school, I also volunteered as my mom worked in a school, helping out children in the school. And for me, it's like my number one like thing that I go back to is, even though I work in healthcare as a background, I always look to try to help the children as well as helping the other parents, and even parents now at the school like that I'm friendly with, always like, how could, like, can you, I ask you this question, how could, I know you know the answer, can you help me with this, or can you help me get this answer? And I feel like I can definitely help both the children and the parents so much, because I really do want to look for the best for everybody. So I really think that that would be like a huge benefit for me, because I already try to do that so much on an everyday basis, that it would just kind of continue to add into that.
Thank you.
And for me, I think like me being on a council, it would benefit you guys, because I'm helping the parents and the children be heard. Like, these committees and councils give us parents a voice at district level. You understand? And it's like, many times, like, we'll say things to schools and so on and so forth, but it's like it falls on deaf ears. You know, these things are not being heard. So we're, with us joining these committees and being able to do this, we're being heard at, a higher level. We'll be able to make changes that need to, we'll be able to make changes for our students and our children, you know, to achieve.
I hear
Thank
you.
you.
I hear you. Thank you.
This gives us the opportunity to bring people together and work collectively. And I think that's real important.
Thank you.
Definitely agree there, Crystal. Good point.
Thank you both. Good, very good answers. Sana, are you satisfied with the answers?
I'm very satisfied.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Does anyone, if you have another question, I'll come back to you, but I'm not sure if Shirley has any questions, or Rashmi, Anne Marie.
Oh,
Got it. Okay. So I didn't want to hold on, Mr. Chow. Does Shirley have any questions, or Rashmi?
No, I think the question that I wanted to ask, Sana kind of asked the same question in a different way, so thank you. So I'm going to wait to see if something else pops in my mind after Joseph goes.
Okay. And Joseph, I know you just got on, but I'm not sure if Shirley was waiting to ask a question. Are you okay, Shirley?
Yeah, I just have one quick question for our
Go ahead.
candidates. What would be, I know we do have a lot of problems, issues that we see in each schools, and there's many, and I just want to ask you guys, two candidates, what would be if you could pick one, what would be the one major issues that you see that you want to dedicate to once you become our council, like bring it up to the table and we'll discuss what would be the one major issue or problem that you would like to address as a council?
Crystal, do you want to go first, or you want me to go?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
The major issue right now for me, what I think is like that takes precedence over a lot of things is social emotional with COVID. Like I think oh God, touching on this issue, like with the new mandates being, you know, the mandates being lifted, the restrictions being lifted, that leaves a lot of confusion with parents and students. Like they don't feel safe. You know, I think there needs to be more education on what we're continuing to do to keep them safe and have them feel safe and comfortable in school, unmasked or masked, but with other people unmasked, parents and students alike. I think that's something that really needs to be addressed.
Okay. So I think that kind of piggybacking first off of what Crystal said, like, I think that's big because I know, like, for myself, even just teaching my children, I said, well, don't get upset. Like, if you feel like you need to put your mask on or you need to take it off, like, or if somebody has it, don't make fun of them. I think that's very huge, the socio-emotional. But I also think from stuff that I've learned through SLT, and something it's even come up in other meetings now, like in trainings, the academic piece, that's been a big portion of what we've been learning. And like English language learners or students with IEPs and other concerns, that there might not be the educational piece for the parents that they need, or they might not be getting the responses that they need and some of the services and help that they need. So I think finding ways that we can really bridge that gap also is another huge piece for me that, like, I really think we need to help further with. So I think that would be the other portion that I think really needs to be looked at further and really worked on.
Thank you.
So it's interesting you say that, because we had a very similar meeting like a month or two ago, not the one that you came, the one thing before that, regarding parents' understanding of the MTSS system. And I think that was because Anne Marie had brought it up. And so that shows sometimes when CEC has concerns of what, as representatives of the community, that it gets brought up at a meeting. And so that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what the training, the SLT training the other day, even like where it came up. So like that kind of is a huge thing that I kind of was referring to a little bit.
Got it.
Yeah, that as the SLT's training stemmed off of that whole thing that the CEC brought up. So it's an excellent. We have an opportunity to share information that gets out there. That's one point where we get to see what we're doing in action. So if something came to the CEC, we addressed it. Danielle took it, went to the SLTs. It's going to, it's spreading. So it's an action that we were able to do and something accomplished.
That's great to hear. Mr. Chow, I know you came on and you have your hand raised, so I'm not going to exclude you. I just wanted to give the other members the courtesy because they were on before you, but welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions for the candidates, it's your turn.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I was a little late. In my notification, the interview started at 7, well, was to start at 7, so I was taking my time. Anyway, I'm here. So I have a different kind of question. I heard, some of the answers included learning, included everybody. The last chancellor and the mayor decided to get rid of the GNT program. I was a lifelong employee of the DOE. I retired. I put in more time for the DOE. I put in more than half my life for the DOE. And the last position I served was the math AP at Francis Lewis High School. I'd like to hear what your take on the GNT. Should we keep it? If we're going to keep it, how can we expand it to include more students? Thank you.
Interesting question, actually, because I have very mixed feelings there on it. At the time when my son was due to take the test, I did have him take the test. Honestly, I don't think he prepared for it. So I kind of just said, go in, take it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And I know growing up as a child myself, I wasn't in a gifted and talented program, but I do find that some kids that have been in the program, it does put an extra strain on them to be a little bit more like hard on themselves. And I noticed that from my niece and nephew. And I feel like because of that, I think kind of putting everyone on the same page is actually kind of nice right now. Because yes, these students are a little above and they might have those talents, but it's also for me a point where I notice some of the socio-emotional stuff and like some of the mental health stuff comes from some of that as well, where I think that a student might become so hard on themselves that it could really affect them emotionally, because it really could tell them, well, I was so hard on myself. If I don't do well, and like they become too hard sometimes on themselves. So I really think the fact that we're putting everybody on the same level, and yes, a student's going to excel if they're going to excel, but I don't necessarily think they need to have a special program to show that they can excel. So I really like the fact that everything is kind of on the same level, but I've seen firsthand how it showed like the next level for some kids. But I've also seen where it could hinder at the same time. So I really think that it's nice to see everyone on the same level now.
For myself, I think I think that it should be eliminated. And I say that because with everything going on now, again, with social emotionally, they don't need the added stress. It's toxic. It is absolutely toxic. And I don't feel like it takes a gifted program to see how smart a child is. As she said, you can see what what a child is capable of with the normal academic education. You understand? And I have friends that have children in the gifted program, and they said they don't see a difference they don't see a difference in what they're learning as opposed to a regular, as a regular child, in regular school. They don't see a difference. So again, I think it's toxic, and I think it should be eliminated.
So it's interesting that this is like a hot topic these days, especially in District 26. So I sat through the town hall meeting with the chancellor last night for District 26, and most of the questions and concerns dealt with the GNT program. So District 25 is a little different. I mean, District 25 does have a GNT program for elementary school, but it doesn't carry forward to the middle schools, which is interesting. They give everybody the opportunity to take Regents courses if they want, the Regents exam if they want, is my understanding. So it's a little bit different in our district, but you know, it's a hot topic these days. So I appreciate the honesty. I'm not sure if Mr. Chow has any follow-up questions on that question.
Yes, I do. Well, I don't have a follow-up question. I just want to make some comments. I forgot to pre-qualify my question with, there are basically three types of learners: fast learners, regular learners, and learners who aren't so swift. The idea of putting everybody on the equal ground is outright ridiculous from the educator's point of view. If you're saying the same low level is brilliant, then we need to define brilliance differently. However, the GNT guarantees that some students take algebra and do well, so that when they go to high school, they have a shot of taking calculus. Just because you offer, most eighth graders aren't ready for algebra, according to many research. If you just Google whether or not eighth graders are ready for algebra, to put everybody in algebra.
Yeah, but that's not what we're here for. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's not what we're here for.
Okay. All right. So let me just qualify that the GNT is important because it feeds into the middle school and high school.
Can I say something? I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I don't think what she said was ridiculous, and I don't think that she meant it in that way that every student is on the same level. I don't think that's what she meant at all.
That's not what she said. That's the chancellor said. The last chancellor said. I wasn't referring to her.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You.
I apologize. No
So,
problem.
so
Alright, I have a question, Joe.
Here, go ahead. I'm just gonna make one more comment because I want you guys to understand as applicants to the CEC, we're not the school board. We don't make those decisions, right? So
Right.
we can't decide whether GNT is coming in or not. We are parent representatives. We advocate for our community, but we don't make the final decision. So Mr.
Right.
Chow's, what you're saying, Mr. Chow, is I understand, but we as a CEC don't have the authority to make the policy because we can give our opinions on it, but it's the actual DOE that makes those decisions through the mayor's office, who took that away from school boards because we're not a school board. So I just wanted to clarify, although we may have opinions on it, it's not going to amount to us making a change unless we advocate for it. And then the mayor's office or the chancellor is going to have to make that change. But interesting topic. I'm sorry, Rashmi, are you there? I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
go ahead with your
Right
question.
and clear. No, you were right, Joe, and Joseph too. CEC should be and is a platform where we all can come and give our opinions and our beliefs and the community we support in. So having said that, District 26, isn't that the president of the CEC District 26 has got appointed to PEP?
So that was Alan Ong. He's the former president of District
he's former.
26. Because he's serving on the PEP, he had to resign.
Right,
as
right,
the
right.
president.
Right.
And the new president is Al Sokol, correct?
Right. Okay, so that's what I mean. So we'll see where how the GNT is going to wave into, because an appointee from this mayor is awesome. He's very politically in the middle. He appointed somebody, which I kind of anticipated from the district, who was very proactive on GNT. So we'll see how the whole PEP will come up. But I have a question regardless of this. Let's want to move away from this topic. How do you guys feel about having more security guards in the school? And when there's a fight that breaks between the student, the security guard is in between the student with a gun, with the security guard is the police. Like, how do you guys feel about security guards intervening or stopping a fight and actually removing students forcefully from each other?
I'm sorry. I feel that that's first and foremost very inappropriate, forcefully removing any student from another student. That's how are you? I just feel like that's very inappropriate. And we've never dealt with situations with guns in our school. And I feel like having more security in schools will make our children frightened and fearful. Like, why would more security be needed in schools? Like our district, I haven't heard of any guns, around in our district. So I feel like that will make our children fearful, and for them seeing security forcefully removing children, I don't think that's a good situation.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to work previously when I worked on the ambulance. I actually worked in a district where there was more of a scenario where you would need more security involved. And knowing where we are, I don't necessarily think that's something our district personally would need. But I also don't think we're in a situation where force would be necessary ever. But I do feel if it's a safety matter where you need to take the child away from, you could do it in an appropriate manner, that there are ways appropriately to do so without necessarily using severe force. I mean, in upper level schools and like high schools, you might see a little bit more things happening, and there you might have to just rearrange how you do it. You might see more security in an upper level school than in a lower grade. So you have to look at each level of school, I think, a little differently. But I think, like, for instance, in an elementary school where my children go, there's one security guard, but in a high school, you might have 2 or 3, for instance, depending on the size of the school. But I don't know that force is necessarily necessary, or for them to ever need to carry, per se. I don't think that would ever be necessary, at least not where we are.
Excuse me, can I ask something? And I'm not trying to be rude, but what do these questions that you guys are asking have to do with CEC? Because I don't feel like these are CEC applicant questions.
And why not? Why not?
Can you explain to me why are they?
No, but you
Please,
raised
so
the
explain to
question.
me. You asked the question. Can you explain to me why are the questions that you asking are CEC questions? How are they related to CEC? Please explain.
I'm not sure why. First of all, I'm not sure why are you so upset? Because it's a
I'm
question
upset.
that
I'm voicing my opinion. I'm voicing
No.
my opinion, and I'm
Okay.
asking you a question.
I refrain to answer why I have asked the question because you are not answering me. Why do you think it is not? Because you raised the question why it's not. So I'll stop there and
Ma'am, if
we'll
I
get
ask
to
you a
Joe.
question, how are you answering my question with a question?
As a CEC member, excuse me, I'm sorry, Crystal. So as a CEC member, if I may, so I'm just listening here, and I'll be very honest with you. I can see where she's going with that, because these are not questions related to the duties and responsibilities and commitments to the CEC. These last line of questions seem to be a little bit more personality related, a little more opinion related, and those are debatable topics. Those are topics that are very specific to the person. So you're asking these candidates to give their opinion, and you may base your opinion of them based on their opinion not matching yours. So I understand her statement, and I think that I can see Eden is nodding her head. I think she probably feels a little bit the same. So I think that we're getting onto a track that might be a little bit seemingly unfair. I get what you're saying, and I understand from the CEC perspective, we want to make sure that we have, we should have a diverse council of different opinions, and that's what we should want. We shouldn't be looking for people with like-minded opinions of our own. That's what makes us a beautiful council, is our differences. So I can understand what she's saying, and I hope I'm speaking for her, but that's what I'm seeing here myself.
So I do want to comment, there are, we're all coming in with different experiences in life and different, objectives and whatnot. So the beauty of it is that as a council, we have to work as one cohesive group. So we may have different opinions, and I appreciate your honesty and your candor, because that's what it's about. We're real people living in a real world. So, hopefully it all works out. So I hope that you don't take personal insult to any questions. I understand where you're coming from. I think they just, we're just the members just want to see, you know, a little bit about your perspectives on certain issues that are coming up in our district.
Fair enough. And it's not taken personally. I just wanted to know how were they related.
So these are topics that come up at our meetings at certain times, because we do get some active community members who are very passionate about certain issues, and it's part of the process, right? So we as a council have to learn how to deal with it. You're getting an experience of that right now. So, you know, sometimes it, you know, it comes up, but that's why we need 9 members, right? Because this way we can have a group come together and work things out. So that's part of being on the council. Does anyone else have any questions? And so I know we went through the first round of all the CEC members, and I appreciate that. I don't personally have any additional questions. I don't know if Anne Marie does. Did I give you the opportunity, Anne Marie?
You did. Thank you so much. No, I think I'm going to say what I said to start. I think they're both are excellent candidates, and I appreciate them being here. I've heard enough. I'm good.
Okay. And I think, Wendy, you had a comment, an additional question?
No.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sana?
I'm good. I was just gonna add perhaps to what you said, Joe, which was a really good point about all of this, is that that's the beauty of this dialogue. It is at the end of the day a dialogue. It is teamwork, you know, and the diversity and the differences that we bring together, that's what makes us better at the end of the day. This is how we're learning off of each other. So even, you know, going off topic a little bit sometimes, it can add to the mix, because at the end of the day, you walk away. Like what Mr. Chow said, I walked away learning something new that I, you know, perhaps didn't have a different perspective of before, but just by hearing him out, I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. So I think I just want to add to that, you know, thank you for your patience. And this is, at the end of the day, this is all a dialogue, and it's all constructive. It's meant to be constructive and carry forward the conversations that we all are passionate about.
Well
Thank you,
said,
Sana.
Sana. Thank you.
Yeah. Rashmi, do you have any additional questions or comments?
No, Sana is like a perfect spokesperson. She summarized it so eloquently.
She is. She's so
She should be our
politically
PR rep. Joe, find a new place on the bylaws, a PR representative.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sana. Mr. Chow, do you have any additional questions, comments?
It's not muted.
I know. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for answering my question.
Saw your fingers going.
I know, right?
Yes, we saw you trying to press the button there. You have no other questions or comments?
No, I'm good.
Thank you, Mr. Chow. Shirley, I asked you that already, right?
Yes, I'm just
sorry.
thankful for their time, because I know it's been multiple times, so I'm very appreciative of their having a time with us. And also, I think we're all just here for our children. That's our main thing. It's just that we may have a different perspective, but our one goal is for our children and our future students. So I think it was very, for me, it was very good time. I don't know about everybody, but it was good. Thank you.
So it's true. We're all coming, you know, our district is very special because we have so many different cultures and people with different backgrounds. So it's nice to have a wide range of representation. So I just want you guys to know how things work procedurally. So we really are not permitted to vote for either one of you until we get to a calendar meeting. So we appreciate that you came back for the final interviews. If no one else has any other questions, what we'll do is we'll take it up at our calendar meeting, which is Wednesday, April 7th, I believe, which is, I think, 2 weeks from today, right? And we will bring up the vote. I wish we had 2 seats available, but we have 1 seat available, and we'll take a roll call vote on it, and hopefully we will have another member. And we thank you for joining us this evening. I don't know if there's any final comments that either one of you want to give to us before we end this meeting.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. I know there's a lot of opinions, like everyone said. So thank you all for your time. And I know like last time was rushed, so I don't mind that we had to kind of get together again so we could answer more questions, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you,
So
lady.
you guys have already experienced how we work as a council, right? Things are long and drawn out, right? Our meetings are not short, right? We appreciate that you came the second time, so it shows that you both have some dedication to wanting to serve on our council. So I commend you both for that. And I thank you both for joining us this evening. And I hope to see you both at our calendar meeting, and hopefully we'll have a new member that will be here to join us. I don't know if so we work very differently, right? So the interview is through a public meeting, which is recorded. The vote to elect the new member has to be done at a public meeting. If we as a council want to discuss, we call something called an executive session, where just the council members can talk about things and hash things out. So at this time, I want to ask if the council members want to have an executive session. So this way, when we have our calendar meeting, we can avoid the public having to wait for us to do an executive session. Are we okay with that? I mean, I have no problem having an executive session right now so we can discuss some things. And this way we don't waste anybody's time at our next calendar meeting.
Yes, I second.
Yeah.
I second that.
But Crystal and Eden doesn't have to be there, right? So we can.
No, it's gonna, so not even Carly. Carly's gonna have to do a breakout room with just the council members. And Crystal and Eden, we thank you. What we'll do is we're going to let you go now, and we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting.
Excuse me, I didn't get a chance to say
Sure.
my.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead. You can have your final comments, yes.
Thank you guys for having me here. And my number one goal is ensuring that our students get what they need. And that's it at the end of the day. We can always disagree. That's what we're here for. You understand? We're supposed to voice our opinions. We're going to have disagreements. Like I said the last time, none of us are going to be in agreement 100% all of the time. But our number one goal is making sure our children get what they need. So that's it, and that's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Crystal,
you.
Eden,
Thank
once
you.
again, thank you for applying. Congratulations to both of you. You're both wonderful candidates. And we will hopefully see both of you at our calendar meeting where we can make our decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a great
Good
evening.
night,
Thank you both.
ladies.
Great to see everyone.
Yes,
We'll
guys,
see you Monday.
don't hang up. I think Carly's got to put us into we have to all join the room, okay?
Yes.
Okay, and then, guys, I'll talk Crystal and Eden, we'll see you next month.
Okay, I don't see an option for break room.
You don't see it?
I don't see it. Can you?
You're
invite-
invited.
I'm not seeing it. Sorry.
There's nothing that came out that
It came, but then it went very quickly, so I didn't catch it.
I don't know how to.
Let me. On your room, is there an option to invite me?
I can't go inside. I sent the invitation now. I think it's from your.
Can you
from
ask
your.
one of the members to maybe invite me?
They're gone into the other room. I can't go into the room. Hold
Oh,
on.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. Somebody entered the waiting room.
No, that's this room.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. Crystal, hi.
Okay, I see it. I see it. I see-
Huh? Hold on. Oh, she did it. Okay.
Can I put it? Okay.
Oh, gosh, can we not stop
So-
the recording? Hold on, I can stop.
And, okay, so we're done with the breakout room. We had a bit of a discussion. We're going to make our decision at the next calendar meeting. So
Okay,
we thank you for your time, Carly, and sorry about that. Also, I guess I'll speak to you, I'll see you on Monday at the next special meeting, but this
okay.
meeting is adjourned. All right,
Bye, Joe.
thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.